end of the season, struggling to find their footing and how exactly they want to play the game out. And you can still see maybe some of those struggles a little bit. We'll see if they can adapt as this meta continues to evolve. We did see Nisqy, like they're talking about, on his Talia, did have a pretty good game, as well as Elyoya on the Hecarim having a very good game. It's been a ongoing conversation how to build Hecarim online. We'll see if it gets through the bans. It's been getting through, so people understand it is a power pick, but maybe not as threatening as some of the other champions that you're seeing banned out every single game, like the Kalista and Draven.
Plus, there's always a little bit of history with Mad Lions versus the TCL, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was the region that took them down that year that you were talking about with the 2020 when they were in the play-ins, when they failed to make it out. It wasn't this squad. I believe it was Supermassive at the time. But yeah, it was a 3-2.
Or was it 1907 Fenerbahce eSports? That was the one, I think. Didn't they make... Whatever. Either way,
we'll remember.
There's been some drama between the two. Also, Armut coming from the TCL as well, a Turkish player. People are going to be, I think, excited either way, maybe. Obviously, if you're a Turkish fan, you want Wildcats to win, but you can always have some representation in Armut as well, who gets the Aatrox. People talk about the champions that Armut can play. There's a big joke in the EU community about only having 3 champions. But if you always get those 3 champions, like you got Gnar in the first game, you're good.
Supermassive.
You're right. I'm trolling.
I got it, baby.
I'm trolling. I'm sorry.
We're in there. It was Supermassive, but all right, we're into the draft. Kalista, Caitlyn, Sejuani, Draven, Graves, Hecarim. That means we are looking at 3 bot lane marksman bans, as well as a 4th marksman that plays that jungle role. Misfortune locked in first and foremost for the side of the Wildcats, and it's going to be a Jarvan for them in the jungle.
First Jarvan of the tournament, but I like the idea for how a lot of teams are looking right now. It feels like it's very early on in World's meta. We're only halfway through day 1, despite what you might think from the time. We have seen a lot of team fight comps, a lot of these kind of wombo comps, but then we've also seen some splitting 1-3-1s with kind of the carry soul laners up in the top side. Jarvan does fit that kind of team fighting identity very well. He can chain gank, he can do a lot of setup and CC. If you're going to combo with an MF, you can lock people in a pit and then shoot the bullet time over the top of them. It does match that identity quite well.
Yep, I love the AoE wombo combos. If you are going to draft Misfortune, set her up for success with that ultimate. Over on the other side, it's Trundle locked in second, as well as a Kaisa to respond to MF bottom side.
Alrighty, grabbing that one up. Elyoya, different look this time around, grabbing the Trundle instead, but did play that second most played in summer, I believe, for him, so no stranger to that pick. We'll have to see if this Azir coming in for Serin.
Okay.
All right, you heard them talking about in the desk that he is kind of the guy who does feel like he needs to be a big threat in the carry position. Obviously, HoluPhoenix had a fantastic finals. It was a strange fact that they were in finals for a lot of TCL fans. They struggled really hard after coming back from MSI. It was a tiebreaker to even get into playoffs. Then there were some weird picks on side selection on who they wanted to fight. Fenerbahce was selected. They had arguably an easier matchup for Wildcats, and they made this run into playoffs to win the 5th game of that series. Is very surprising that they made it, but here they are again to represent TCL.
And of course, everybody keeps eyes on HoluPhoenix on this roster. Like, this is the guy who's the shot caller. He's the leader. This team has been together for 4 splits, so they're very familiar with one another. This is the dude who has 8 TCL titles under his belt already. He is no stranger to international competition.
No, not at all. This team has a lot of veterans now. They made their first World appearance last year, but I believe it's now 3 international tournaments in a row for them. So kind of...
That is correct, or at least that's what my paper says.
Well, we'll go with your paper.
If you're wrong, we're both wrong.
You sound pretty good. I think you're smart. You must have it, right?
All right, we got this. We got this. Anyway, let's see how the second half of the bans are going out here, as Talia and Ahri are both banned away. Again, looking towards those mid laners that Nisqy can roam around on and affect other lanes. Amumu and Braum banned out, getting rid of a couple of those meatball CC supports.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a low-range composition thus far between the Kaisa, Trundle, and Aatrox, and getting rid of Braum, who is very annoying to deal with that. Also gives you some protection in the bot side for the MF. So, makes sense that they are targeting that one away. We'll see what Nisqy wants to go for mid lane. He did get rid of some of them, but you always have the other options. If he wants to go the LeBlanc skill matchup, which we just saw in the previous game, Minji made that one look very good, so we'll have to see.
Alrighty, Leona locked in. MF Leona, scary, scary stuff in a 2v2. Unforgiven again, just hovering that Karthus pick that
one day, dude,
holds in the back pocket. I obviously do not think we're going to see that locked in, considering he's already got his Kaisa, Alistar, Blitzcrank, a couple different options here.
Nope.
Pretty much only a jungler, so we're not going to see that.
Yep.
And Nisqy on Sylas got some pretty good ultis to steal here.
Yeah, Sylas coming up for him here. You're happy to grab the MF ultimate, happy to grab Leona, pretty much everyone. Let's go with everyone so far. All of those can be used in different situations.
Yeah, you can dunk somebody with a Jarvan ulti, swoop them back with an Azir ulti. Lots of different good options here. And then they take the Alistar as the final pick of the draft for themselves. That'll be the bottom lane. Kaisa Alistar versus the MF Leona of the Wildcats. Now, what is this final pick over here? Because it's got to be a top laner. And that is a little bit different compared to what I was expecting here, because it's not like this is a team that plays around Starscreen. He's generally seen as one of the weaker players, but can play stuff like Ornn or Sylas and look to outplay the dives. It's Renekton picked as the last one.
All right, 5th pick Renekton into an Aatrox. We saw NA try that one. It didn't look so hot. We'll see if it looks better here for Starscreen into Armut. Very standard, classic topside matchup. Renekton usually winning early on. If you don't get resources, though, it's very hard to actually blow open the game unless the Aatrox is misplaying.
Yep.
So if you leave it on the weak side, yes, it will win, and you can maybe make plays around the bot side if you care more about that. But otherwise, you kind of end up usually just becoming a bit of a meatball for team fights.
So where are we expecting to see the focus here, Mark? Where's the action going to be?
I think for the side of Istanbul Wildcats, you're looking to maybe try and make some plays around bot lane. You have a lot of nice setup with the Leona. Jarvan can go flying in there. MF is very happy to get kills early on. Kaisa can, doesn't have too many escapes other than the speed up early on. So if you're able to get on top of her, you start getting some kills that way. I think for Mad Lions, kind of pick of the litter here. Like you're happy if you can get any of these lanes going. It's basically a 3-threat composition.
All righty, we're about ready to jump in here. Mad Lions already got a win earlier today. I'm expecting them to feel even better coming into this one with that win, already getting warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they played the first game of Worlds for 2022. Understandable if there were some jitters, there were some nerves for them going into that game and maybe made some decisions that they would take back. But the fact that they walked away with that win, they're going up against another team that they're favored here. Europe's already 2-0 on the day. They're eating good, all right? I know some of them might be asleep. They'll wake up, see that they're potentially 3-0 on the day. You have to feel very good if you're able to do that.
Plus, like we talked about during game number 1, for Mad Lions, it's very important to win these first couple of games because these are seen as your weaker opponents in the group. They are in that group that a lot of people consider the much more difficult journey to be able to get out of play-ins, so you got to grab every win where you can get it. Let's rock and roll. We got teleports up and running on all 4 solo laners like you'd expect. We do have the cleanse for Unforgiven to be able to get away from that Leona. HoluPhoenix running the heal on the Misfortune, so a bit more combat power in the 2v2 there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, not a surprise, like we said, maybe being the lane that they want to target. Can easily see them going down there, making some plays happen. See some of the rune choices here. Whenever this, I'll be 100% honest. Whenever this graphic flies, my eyes just gloss over. And if I see something interesting later, then I always end up going back and looking at it. But it's just, it's information overload. What do you... I don't know, it looks normal.
Yep, looks like pretty standard stuff to me. Free boots, cookies there for both of the AD carries. Got some Hex Flash action down there for the Alistar. One of the most prominent users of that rune, I think, ever since runes got reforged.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the choice is, did you go Glacial Augment or not? There's some of that going on for the Alistars as well. But I always like the Aftershock just because without your ultimate, you're so squishy in mid to late game. And if you can get that little bit of extra durability window that you might not need to pop your ultimate and get it forced out or something like that. I do like that, though you sometimes see both, and obviously Hex Flash being critical for both these supports to be able to make some big plays happen.
Also, the Aftershock just gives you a bit better of ball of stats trading in the lane, right? Like, if you're going to go in like that, having the extra defenses can go a long way. Anyway, let's take a look down here at the bottom lane. HoluPhoenix, this is the guy to keep your eyes on for the Wildcats. This is who they want to set up. This is the star. This is the leader. This is the guy that if they're going to get a win here, I expect it to be through.
Yeah, I think HoluPhoenix in that finals that we talked about was a 5-game series. It was super crazy. He had a couple of absolutely disgusting Sivir games. Sivir's dead in the meta, but I think it speaks to his carry potential in team fights. That's kind of who he is. MF is a different identity. It's not quite the auto attack based kit. You can still weave in a lot of those with your strut, which is extremely powerful, but you usually win or lose the team fight based off your ultimate usage and if you were able to get jumped on and obliterated early. But his positioning is usually pretty good. He can be aggressive, but I think he'll be able to pile this champion quite well. He's not just an auto attack player.
And hey, this is different from the last game that we saw MF and Leona going up against like the Caitlyn Lux. They're not stuck underneath the turret early on. They don't feel suffocated in the early laning phase. They're doing just fine. Ferret's moving in, trying to steal away the chickens from Elyoya, who's going to hang out nearby, but it doesn't really matter. Ferret's got the smite. He's got his mid laner right next to him. That's what mid lane priority gets you. And Ferret will go ahead, leave that last chicken alive. You can see Elyoya doubling back. He's going to make sure he clears that one out, keeps his camp timers where they need to be. And Starscreen just hanging out here in the top side river, making sure he's got control over that top side crab. Both solo lanes early on in control for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I do like that invade. I think Serin is a power point, especially early on for this Azir getting that shove, get that play. But Elyoya wants to answer back. He wants his blue buff. Doesn't have smite.
Neither one has smite. And the blue buff is about to run out of patience here. Down to 400 HP. Oh, Elyoya throwing out the pillar. Serin goes over the wall. Blue buff resets. 3-man commitment from Mad, 4-man response from the side of the Wildcats. Blue buff now going to be aggroed up again. Elyoya set on this one.
Yeah, the fact that Nisqy has shove mid means that if they do want to contest this, they're not going to have the Azir, or the Azir has to be sacking farm. Looks like he's trying to get the best of both worlds right now, but eventually Wildcat's going to have to back off. Elyoya, successful invade.
Elyoya takes it. He doesn't even have to use the smite. Both of their smites coming up around the same time. Nicely done from Matt. Hey, you take a chicken, the other guy takes a blue buff. He's coming out on top.
Yeah, feeling good. I also like the bot lane for Unforgiven, not on the Seraphine. I think it's a very strong pick. We've already seen it a couple times today. We'll see it a lot more, but I want to see him on this higher agency champion, I guess you could say. That's what Kaisa is known for, is when you pop that R, you go in and you start taking over team fights. We've seen it once today already.
And especially with what you were talking about when we saw the first half of the draft, it was the Kaisa, the Aatrox, and the Trundle. This is Kaisa and 4 melee champions. That's kind of Kaisa's whole thing. She's the AD carry who can role-play the melee champion, diving in with everybody else, just being part of that ballistic missile.
Yeah, absolutely the case. If you can get a good Alistar combo, Nisqy can pop off, whatever it is, you can go flying in there. And there are a number of high-priority targets, whether it's the MF or the Azir. If you can blow them up early, Mad Lions will be very happy about that. Doing a good job so far. Kind of controlling the early game. It does feel like they are less interested in making super big plays early on, getting to like those 6s to get those team fights. As dun.
No.
What do you mean no? You didn't like our podcast before?
I've run out of podcast ideas,
You've
Mark.
podcasted out?
I ran out of podcast ideas halfway through the last podcast. What do you think Trucker Orn was being summoned up from the pits of my ideas for? I've had him in my brain since like 2015.
You reach into your pocket.
Or wherever Orn was released.
The meme where it's just all the same thing with the crow, and it's
Yeah,
all
it's
just
like,
Trucker Orn.
I don't have any material left. I don't know where we're going. All right, we will update you guys as soon as we know what is going on here with the game. Hopefully this pause can be resumed very swiftly. I'm not quite sure exactly what the cause of things are. I would guess it's got to be something with a remote setup, as that has sort of been the thorn in our side all day.
Yeah, no update from Nisqy this time around. He was very talkative in game 1. I always appreciate players who have some stuff to say. Let the other team know, lag or audio issues, whatever it is, because then we also get to know what it is.
Yeah. Just helps everybody out here a little bit. But unfortunately, there's also not really a whole lot to talk about with the current game state either. We haven't really been going on that far. We are hearing that HoluPhoenix has reported in-game audio issues. The dreaded audio pause. The eSports Grim Reaper has reared his face again.
You trying to caster curse it? It's unstoppable, the audio pause. Yeah, it's hopefully something that they can get fixed out quickly here. Like you were saying, this is one of the unfortunate times to get hit with a pause. It's far enough into the game that some stuff has happened, so you can't just speculate on how lane phases are going to go. Maybe they'll do this with their first clear, but also nothing has happened other than that blue buff invade, really. I mean, hats off to Mad for having a decent early start to the game, but otherwise, like we said, this is mostly team fighting for both these comps that they're going to be looking to do.
Yeah, I like the fact that early on, the Wildcats were playing around the priority they had in the solo lanes to secure that topside scuttle crab, to look to secure that chicken camp. But it was Mad who came out on top just saying, all right, well, now that things are bouncing back the other way, we're going to take something of greater value. Whenever I see teams be willing to rotate away from their lanes, move in early, we're talking like level 2, level 3 types of fights, that's a promising sign of good coordination.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And I think for Mad Lions, that's one of the things that felt like it slipped away a little bit in the regular season. They were so good about coordinating as a team. Then the meta kind of changed.
Yep.
They struggled, like we were saying, to find exactly how they wanted to play that game. What was their new identity? Is it pushing, shoving mids and trying to still make plays all over the map? Is it you know, we're going to start funneling Unforgiven? Is it going to be Nisqy on Cassiopeia? You know, they tried a lot of different things in playoffs, unable to make it work.
And I think if you're a Mad Lions fan, you want to see a convincing win here, not just a win. Going back to game number 1, there were some oopsies. There were a couple of issues with taking some Baron attempts, getting AoE'd to death. You want to see something get cleaned up a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, absolutely the case. Hopefully we have the game unpausing soon. I saw some R's in the chat, but I don't know if you can trust these R's.
Yeah, these seem to be surrounded by memes. I don't trust these at all, Mark.
Yeah, Nisqy
started it. That means that it's got at least a 50% chance of being BS.
Yep.
Oh, looks like we're about to get back into the game. We high-rolled it, Mark. The coin came up heads, and it's time to head back into the rift. Let's see what happens. Starscreen's got this wave pushed up, does get hit by the chains. Mad Lion, uh-oh. It looks like they were trying to make that happen there, but they didn't send Elyoya over the wall. Kaiser still might be able to find this. Goes for the headbutt, goes for the pole, gets the first blood over to Mad Lions.
Alrighty, there we go. Kaiser on the roam. This is one of the things he was so good at in the regular season, and honestly for his entire career, being able to get out of the lane phase, make things happen. The shift towards funnel your AD carry was not great for Kaiser either. Identity that he wants to be here, able to get up to the top side with Armut, who had the wave in a good spot, was able to get some good trades on the Starscreen, and just use that blast cone for first blood. Only downside did end up on Kaiser, having to take that one away.
And you can see here the a little bit of a miscalculation with the angles.
No. That's Elyoya saying, you got this.
Yeah, he's trusting his
I'm going
support.
back to Gromp. You get the kill, Kaiser. I don't need it.
He's trusting his support. And you can see Kaiser just goes in, slaps him upside the head, nothing to it. 1-0 for the Mad Lions, nice and early.
Yep, able to get that. They also traded flashes up in the top side, Armut and Starscreen as well, meaning that if you want to try and make some repeat plays here as you're hitting your 6s on people like Nisqy, Elyoya soon as well, maybe you can make some more kills happen. But Ferret
gets away over the wall. It's luckily pretty easy to walk away from Trundle. With Jarvan, you just EQ away from the pillar, keep yourself out of that danger zone, escape the slows. But that does mean Mad Lions still maintains control over the bot side river. That does mean Elyoya is going to grab this Scuttle Crab, and it does mean Mad Lions are up about 1,000 gold with a 1-kill lead. That feels really good.
Yeah, feeling so good so far this game. We are coming up a minute out from when, hold on.
Oh boy. Stolen Jarvan ulti. Meanwhile, up in the top side, Starscreen's going for it. Armut's got to try to get away. Starscreen stacking up that Fury, but he will not be able to stay on top of the Aatrox long enough, and Armut walks away.
A little dicey there for a second, but a trade of ultimates. Armut gets out just fine. Going to grab some honey fruit here while the wave collapses into his turret, come back healthier. Nisqy, I think, just wants to use the ultimate since he had it up.
Yep.
Just drop it, get a trade down onto Serin. You can see that gets him maybe some prio in the lane. Also up TP advantage, which means it's very difficult for the Wildcats to make a play potentially down to the bot side. We're talking about maybe they can get the Jarvan to find a kill, but if you do go for a play for HoluPhoenix to start trying to funnel in some gold, Nisqy can follow up, and there's no way for anyone else to match. He's the only TP available in the game right now.
Exactly, and that is huge. Whenever there is a TP discrepancy like that, the other squad always has to be aware of the fact that fights are not as they seem. Things can very much be shrouded in smoke and mirrors, and if he's got the right ward at the right time, things go south really fast.
And I think that's one of the things that I saw Wildcats struggling with a little bit in their playoff run, keeping track of teleport timers as well as vision control in River, making sure that they can spot the enemy moving in and out of the jungle or leaving a lane like this. So you can see already Mad Lions clearing out the bot lane vision, while see Farfetch making a roam towards mid lane.
All right, Farfetch, let's see if he can make anything happen like Kaiser did. Looks like Nisqy's just fine here, has stolen away the Azir ulti this time, so if they try to really commit onto the Sylas, he'll just be able to throw him right on back. Ferret does have his own ulti now. No longer is it just the Sylas who's got those Jarvan ultis ready to go. They jump in after him. Unforgiven goes in. Ferret goes down. Mad Lions go off 2-0.
There's the LEC MVP finding some action in the game, getting the scoop back onto the flashless Ferret, gives them an easy kill there. Unforgiven and Kaiser making the roam up, given the Rift Herald spawn secure that one. 2 plays, 2 kills, feeling very good for Mad Lions.
Mad Lions, man. That first game, that was the warm-up. Now they're moving, they're grooving. The early game's feeling awesome here for these guys. And we're kind of looking up top at, okay, Aatrox is starting to feel comfortable. He's got his ninja tabbies or plated steel caps or whatever you want to call them.
I still call them tabbies too, dude.
That's fair.
No shame.
That's fair. Old school stuff. But here's the play that Nisqy made.
Yeah, you can see there, Kaiser also committing, I believe it was the flash to try and get that combo onto him. Did not stop the ultimate from coming through, but didn't matter because there's just no way out. Nice clasp by Unforgiven. Here you go. Gets the kill for himself as well. Much better target this time than having a 2-0 Alistar.
Yeah. Definitely prefer to have that money there on the Kaisa, being ready to dive in, being ready to go with these meatballs where no AD carry normally wants to go, but where he will be happy to journey as the game moves forward. 1,500 gold lead, not even 10 minutes into the game. Feels awesome for the Mad Lions. Elyoya still has 3 minutes left on the Eye of the Herald to be able to drop that wherever they want. That should be another guaranteed at least plus 300 gold. Things are looking awesome here in the early.
Yeah, I think Mad Lions look incredible. They have this chance now, I believe, probably use the Rift Herald up on the top side. Get the Aatrox even further ahead of the Renekton in this matchup. Already feeling good, 300 gold up, or excuse me, 200 gold up with the assist that he got. But if you can get him, you'll never have to babysit him in the side lane again. You could also use it for the Dragon. First Dragon's still available. Wildcats starting this one up with the bot side pressure, but Mad Lions are in a position to contest potentially.
Yeah, Mad Lions seem to just be letting this one go for now. Elyoya clearing out his Krugs, the bottom lane farming up at their own turret. Many more Wildcat players here in the river than anybody from Mad Lions being nearby. Easy first Drake for the Wildcats. You like to see that, especially if you're falling behind in gold early, because it means that your opponents won't also be able to start a Drake stack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for Mad Lions, I understand not wanting to go blind into that. There was Wildcats there first. You had Elyoya in the bot lane. Maybe he could have moved in for it, but I understand saying this is not really our win con. It's a bit of a 1-3-1 con for them, where both their solo laners can push in side lanes, make plays happen. And you do have strong team fight, like you said, with this kind of dive composition of the 4 melee, but you don't need to go into every dragon fight when you can just keep funneling gold into Armut, have the farm keep coming in.
Keep on keeping on with that money, just falling into their pockets. The Mad Lions enjoying the state of the game so far, but the Wildcats, what do you think the move is here, Mark? Do you want to see these guys group up early? Do you want to see them try to make some picks? What's the sauce?
Well, ideally it would be Ferret, who is the one comboing probably with the Leona, whether that be in your own lane or roaming up to the top side like we saw Mad Lions already do once. Maybe if you can get a kill on the Armut, get the gold lead back into the favor of Renekton, that could be an angle. Obviously, you can try and shut down Nisqy, who's gotten choked out a little bit in the mid lane, but I do think it's unfair. And the fact that he lost his flash early on is one of those micro objectives that can be very important to get. If you get the flash out of your Jarvan, it means that it's very hard for him to do the flash EQ combos, get that knock up, whatever it is, has to play more respectfully. And so that's something that they can focus for Mad Lions, even in the short term, is like, scrap him out, force the flash defensively, and then that really limits the Wildcats' playmaking potential.
Nisqy has that orbital laser cannon that is an AP Leona ulti in Sylas's pocket, so I want to see Mad Lions try to use that to make some kind of a play. Of course, if they aren't able to find the angle, he can eventually just use it to go for a quick trade or clear a wave or whatever, as Farfetch goes after Nisqy, but the Zenith Blade aim ain't there.
Nope, not able to do it. Nisqy, he's playing up in the face quite a bit of the Wildcats. It's his style, very high 4%, very active, high jungle proximity, working with Elyoya to make things happen. And for Nisqy, internationally, he's someone who I think the community might have a hold on here. We're getting some plays.
Yeah, we're getting some plays coming out. There's the stun, stopping Leona with her own move, but now Farfetch has his ulti as well. Not gonna have the range for it there, as the Herald gets the guaranteed 2 plates and nothing more. Mad Lions gonna take this opportunity to reset and get ready to make another play.
I thought it was a play, but it was just escorting the Herald in for some turret plates, edge. But I will say for Nisqy, where I was going with that was back on his Cloud9 days, where he did make a couple international appearances, didn't have that same level of performance that we're talking about, where he borderline won MVPs in NA. He could have almost been like Inspired, picking up multiple MVPs in different regions if he just got one of those ones when instead Svenskeren and Blabber got them around him. But then when it transferred to the international stage, he wasn't able to quite execute on that same game plan, where it's very roam heavy, like we said. It's very much about assisting your team. They didn't find that same level of success, and I think not only is this a potential redemption for Mad Lions, this play-in stage.
Oh boy.
Red buff contest here.
Here comes the Goon Squad, and Jarvan already lost his flag. Ferret will try to get away. Elyoya with a flash follow, just chomps him.
Devours that Jarvan. That also gives them control on the top side. Leaves Unforgiven alone in the bot lane, though.
Alrighty, Unforgiven. Let's see the outplay. Immediately goes for the shield. Farfetch just dies. What the hell was that? Wildcats are dropping the ball across the rift, and Mad Lions are dunking them.
Mad Lions pop off, find a kill in the jungle, find a kill in the top lane, get a kill in the bot lane as well. We talked about the weak side. for Mad Lions. Unforgiven alone there, but like I said, sometimes it feels like Wildcats lose track of teleports, and instantly the wave is dying. They're making this play as a teleport comes in, never gonna happen. And then at the same time, meaning that Starscreen was alone up in the top side for a 3-man dive to go for them. So 5-0 on their way almost to a perfect game. They did lose that one dragon. Unfortunately, not able to call the perfect game, but it's one of those no-hitters. No kills yet, only a couple turret plates going for the side of Wildcats.
Man, when your biggest concern in a game of League of Legends is, darn, we didn't get a perfect game, it's a pretty good game of League of Legends.
It's a pretty good game right now for Mad Lions. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking very good. They are starting up the second Rift Herald as well. Unlikely for Wildcats to contest. I just want to see something out of them right now. It feels like a game where Ferret's been targeted a little bit, Topside's been targeted a little bit, and as a result, they've just not found any plays to make it all.
Yep, Elyoya should be able to grab this Herald, no problem. There it is. Second eye of the game, going to go over to Mad. Remember, they used that first one in mid lane just for the guaranteed 2 plates. If they want to drop this second Herald mid, they should be able to secure the tier 1 turret. The Drake also about to spawn for the second time, but there it is. They're going to summon Herald topside instead. Armut honestly already can just take down the turret without the help, but he should be able to force this one into the tier 2 turret topside now. HoluPhoenix grabbing a tier 1 in the bottom lane while this happens, and Ferret is onto the Drake.
Yeah, Ferret's grabbing the dragon, but you see there's complete control on the top side. Elyoya hovering behind the bot turret to, the top turret to escort that Rift Herald in for a second charge. I think 2 turrets for a Cloud Dragon is a pretty good trade for Mad Lions.
Exactly. They're happy to take this trade. I mentioned in one of the previous games the power of the extra gold influx from those tier 2s in the side lanes. Very, very convincing. 4,500 gold lead now. Yeah, they got 2 Drakes. I don't think that's going to matter near as much as the power of the wallet of the Mad Lions.
Yeah, definitely a tough game now for Istanbul Wildcats. For Mad Lions, like we were saying, redemption a little bit potentially for how this year has gone in terms of the nice addition of Nisqy in the offseason to make this really impressive summer run, but then the no wins in the best of 5. You even saw Elyoya in an interview was saying like, yeah, this feels weird that we're going to Worlds without winning. But if you can just prove yourself here in the play-in stage, in the group stage, when you're able to dominate some of the teams that you're expected to beat, and then potentially go up against the rest of your group, find some wins against Saigon, potentially DRX, potentially RNG, and kind of prove like, hey, it was a bit of a weird entrance, but we can absolutely throw down with the best of them.
Exactly. Nobody likes the feeling of everybody thinking, oh, well, why did you even get here? But if you can prove you deserve the spot, well, then all that's just going to get washed away. But right now, we got some problems, my friends. Armut tries to flash away, but he can't clear the wall, and the Wildcats are on the board.
Ooh, nice pillar, gets the flash out of Farfetch there, but yeah, Armut getting caught in the rotato down to the mid lane, unfortunately. Giving one up for his friends in the TCL, you know, he's saying, you guys haven't got a kill yet, it's looking like a rough game, you know, here you go.
Just looking out for his buddies, that's all.
Yeah.
Just throwing him a freebie there.
Hey, countryman, here you go.
But the nice part is, with him dead for the next 10 seconds, that does give Starscreen some extra time with his tier 1 turret here in the top side. Unforgiven alone versus 4 in the mid lane, so that's another turret going the way of the Wildcats. Feels really good to pick up some of this standing gold and try to close that gap a little bit. If they can get this top lane tier 1 as well, which it looks like Starscreen's going to walk away from. I don't know if the minions will be able to finish this in time. Nisqy is making his way up here.
Yeah, it's not going to die.
He should be able to save it. Just barely.
He goes down.
Just barely goes down. So there you go. Wildcats tying up the turret count.
I felt like Nisqy wanted that to drop. He didn't really use his Q on the backline or, you know, try and full combo the wave instantly. So I think he was fine letting that turret drop there. And so some more gold going over to the Wildcats now. Not closing the gap too much. Still 3,000 in their favor, but Mad Lions can't make too many more mistakes like that because you could have had this incredible almost shutout of the Wildcats. Now they have all the outers down. Don't want to give up any more free kills in rotation, especially not with the dragons coming up. If you do that again, and then suddenly you give Wildcats soul point, suddenly you're getting some more gold into people. It was, again, fortunate it ended up on the support, not getting the MF more fed, or Serin on the Azir, who can definitely carry games. That is, I guess, the bright spot for Mad Lions.
Ooh, HoluPhoenix Luckily, the strut speed gets him away from E2 of Nisqy. Nisqy getting jumped on, popping a stasis, keeping himself alive. HoluPhoenix with a flashback over the wall. Mad coming in, making a big team effort, and they just explode Ferret. But they're stuck inside the bullet time. Nisqy gets out with a flash, but Starscreen's looking to go forward even further. Elyoya with a flashback out over the wall as Starscreen goes in, but he won't.
Oh, they can't get anyone
yet. Armut heals up, but he dies eventually. 1 for 1 in a bloody scrap.
Mad Lions is so fortunate to get out of there, only losing 1. Wildcats were about to potentially run over them. Baron wouldn't have been up, so it would not have been like the game ender or anything like that, but so many people escaping on 200 health right there. HoluPhoenix not able to quite get that chase down. He had a really nice ultimate after Nisqy started that fight, very far out of position. Wildcats showing signs of life. I was worried this was going to be a snoozer game where Mad Lions just roll over them here. Nisqy kind of using his mobility, committing forward. And this is what you love about HoluPhoenix. He's not afraid to step forward and try and make plays there. Holds his flash for quite a while too. Gets over the far side of the wall here and runs down from the teleport. Makes it so Ferret is left alone, but Starscreen has completed his. And now everyone is trapped in Ferret's ultimate. The ultimate from Kaiser coming up. Excuse me, that was Nisqy's ultimate coming up a little short, not stopping HoluPhoenix from channeling that full ultimate. And here, if they just had a little bit more CC, never mind, we're fighting again.
Yeah, do we have the CC now? Not quite. Ferret gets away, but Mad Lions get their 4th turret of the game with that tier 1 in mid falling. They got 30 seconds until the 3rd Drake of the game spawns.
Okay, big thing though, so many flashes down. Ferret is the only person, along with Kaiser, with their flashes still available. 2 playmakers as this dragon is spawning. No mobility for the backline though for Wildcats. We'll see if they feel like they can actually walk forward or if it's just too much of a risk without their flashes up.
Yeah, I feel like target selection for Ferret is pretty difficult right now because you don't want to go for Aatrox, you don't want to go for Trundle, you don't want to go for Alistar. Nisqy already has Zhonya's completed. He can just drop the aggro if he's stuck in the dunk bucket. Meanwhile, Unforgiven just goes Lamau and presses R. He gets right back out of it. It's difficult for Jarvan to find those big moments he's looking for.
Very difficult, and so instead, Wildcats not even going to contest it, it looks like. They just want to keep the pressure up on the Baron. Here we go.
Hex flash over the wall from Farfetch. He'll catch Nisqy a little bit off guard, but can he get away? Drops the Everfrost back. Remember, he already flashed in the previous fight. Zhonya's to buy himself an extra moment, tries to heal up, but Nisqy's down. Nice play from Farfetch. Nice play from the Wildcat.
Yeah, very well done. The fact that they are getting control around the Baron meant that Nisqy did not have a clean path to the rest of his team, and it looked like a blind Hex Flash. It did not look like Farfetch knew he was about to hop on top of Nisqy, but then with enough CC, they set it up. Now, Mad have to stop this Baron.
Mad got to get in there. It's an Azir team. They clear Baron fast. There goes your bullet time. Elyoya's going to die. Starscreen gets him here at the very start. Ferret's at about 100 HP.
Baron reset.
He's got to eat the apples. Okay, he's good. He's doing all right. Wildcats, they won't get the Baron, but they do get 2 kills.
I saw the idea for what Wildcats wanted there. They thought that if they just focus down Elyoya, he's not the biggest threat on Mad Lion's side, but if you remove the smite while keeping the Baron leashed at around 3k, you can maybe kill him, go back, get the Baron, do something like that. Obviously, killing Elyoya is not the focus in teamfights, but in that situation, I see what they were looking for. Don't end up getting the Baron because it did get reset, but hey, this is still a huge turnaround now, slowly clawing back into this game.
It's always an interesting conversation when you look at priority on junglers versus priority on carries in terms of target selection around objectives. Especially when junglers are these tankier champions, sometimes you're willing to just commit the kitchen sink to them for exactly the reason you're talking about. And now, the Wildcats, off the back of getting those 2 kills and getting the reset, getting back out onto the map, they've secured Soul Point.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about it being a little scary if you let Wildcats make a couple plays, end up on Soul Point. Mad Lions, though, catching them in a really tough rotation here. They're going to have to run blind into this pit to stop this Baron from going down to Mad Lions.
They got to get ready to go. Mad Lions already got it down to half, taking it down to 5k. Nisqy trying to keep an eye on everybody else. It's already down to 2k. That Baron's gone. Mad Lions picking it up as Kaiser tries to tank everybody, getting caught out on his own. They'll kill him through the ulti.
Very much worth it, though. Kaiser knowing, seeing Ferret, marking Ferret, no flash on him. There's absolutely no way for a Jarvan through an Alistar. Both the headbutt and the pulverize can stop your EQ combo.
Yep.
And so Mad Lions made a very easy decision. Leave Kaiser there as, hold on.
Oh, Armut stepped up. He was trying to enhance the wave so they couldn't kill the minions so easy. They spend a lot of resources going after him, but he barely survives. Wildcats now without those team fighting mechanisms, they gotta back up. Ferret buffers the EQ through the Everfrost. He's able to disengage.
Whew, so Mad Lions escape. Got a little dicey there for a second with Kaiser dropping and maybe Armut as well, but he's able to get out of there. Now with the mid inner turret protected as well. Mad on their reset should be able to start setting up, have a couple minutes of Baron to grab some of these inner turrets for themselves, get this gold lead. It doesn't feel like the game-ending Baron, given how it was secured, but this can stop this kind of bleeding that's been going on for them, get some more gold back in their pockets for what will probably be the most important fight of the game at Soul Point.
And we talk about bleeding, but they're still slowly but steadily increasing that gold lead, just not at the pace we were expecting them to continue doing based on their very early game performances. They do have to worry about that Drake, man.
Yeah.
That is the X factor. If Wildcats can get themselves a kill at the right moment and take the soul, then it becomes anybody's ballgame.
Yeah, that's what the main focus should be for them. So you can see them backing off this turret, giving it up, focusing on protecting their inhibitors instead. Already one down now. Mad Lions getting vision control, making the rotation down to the bot side where Nisqy has primed the wave. Serin.
Yeah, Serin's getting away. He's fine. But I do like the idea from Mad. Just go for the standing gold. Unforgiven getting hit there with a Leona ult. He gets himself away with a cleanse. But what else are Mad going to do? Ferret goes in. Ferret goes out. Ferret stays alive just barely as Unforgiven dashes back over the wall. Ferret still burning away. They've got Nisqy here with a stasis. They're trying to grab the kill. Serin takes out Unforgiven. And Kaiser drops next. Wildcats got a 2-for-1 so far as they lose Serin after the fact. Starscreen still looking, but he can't go after Nisqy and Elyoya alone. 2-for-1. Wildcats catch him.
All right, there's Serin, like we were talking about, this big playmaker for this team. The flank with the ultimate finding 2 kills. They do trade one back. He gives his life up to make that play, but it takes a lot of Barons, stops that kind of pressure, protects the bot lane turret. And that fight, I think, could have been so much better for Wildcats if HoluPhoenix had his ultimate. It was not quite up right when his front line made that really big engage. He could not layer it over the top. And so Mad Lions dodge a bit of a bullet there, that fight did not go worse. Again, limping out with somewhat low HP bars. This has turned into a scrappy game yet again, Captain Flowers, man.
I am loving it. Let's take another look at how this started out. Mad, we're trying to force this turret, but Leona says no.
Yeah, Leona goes in here, gets this initial chain CC combo, and then when Kaiser re-engages, you get this ult. This is where you drop the MF ultimate. HoluPhoenix is also in a perfect position to do it because there's no threat to stop him from dropping it, but it just wasn't available. So instead, they're just able to have to go through a normal front-to-back chase down sequence. Serin does a very good job of recognizing his moment to run in there, get the double kill on the bot lane while the rest of the team kind of forces Armut out. Armut did a good job making sure that they could not chase for more kills and got out himself, but that is some more gold into their pockets now. And the Azir is starting to get fed. A lot of these kills are ending up on him. Yep. A minute until, Soul Point, he might be able to get enough for his death cap.
That is the huge moment. 50 seconds from now, the Drake is in the eyes of everybody on the Rift. It's Mad Lions with control over the bottom side river. They're the ones going to be sweeping out some of the vision, trying to control things first. There is that ward in the pixel brush there, one from both teams, actually. As the Wildcats push down mid, there is this tier 2 turret still standing. That's a pretty big whiff.
Yeah, that feels bad. I see the idea. Pick Unforgiven, no flash, no cleanse. They have these sums marked, and so they're saying, if we land this, he's dead, Dragon's ours. But without that Leona ultimate now, it might not be possible. They're still getting cryo and being able to get into the river, but we'll see if they can actually win this fight.
Farfetch in the pit. Everybody else in the Wildcats falling back into their own jungle. Mad Lions pushing up slowly but surely. They don't want to overcommit until Nisqy is ready to go. He's walking his way back up towards them now. Does have that third item completed here with a Cosmic Drive. Serin does not have the death cap ready to go in time. As Mad Lions start up the Drake. Do the Wildcats want to fight for this? Looks like the answer is going to be no.
I respect it. They did not get enough gold onto Serin to finish off the death cap. He was around 500 when we checked. He needed another 600. Very hard to get in under a minute without getting some kills. And given that they're not on that power spike for him, the fact that they feel like they're probably scaling quite well, and the fact that they just lost their Leona ultimate, I think sacking that was probably the right call.
Yep.
Some more items coming through here. We have Prowler's Claw Renekton.
I love that. I was about to point out the same thing. It's Torpedo Crocodile. He goes in, he blows up one person, he dies.
He did do it also in the TCL finals. I believe it was him. And he was actually able to make some pretty big plays with this, getting one-shots onto people like backline members. If you can get onto Unforgiven, yeah, he has Cleanse to break your Empowered W, but if you just have a lethality build, you can kind of just one-shot people. Yeah, especially if you have any MF damage or anything else coming over the top. So they are identifying the fact that the main DPS threat will be Unforgiven. Yes, Nisqy and Armut are no jokes. You have to respect them, but if you can get this kind of one-shot potential down, you do, in theory, have the better front-to-back DPS with Serin as well.
Alrighty, 20 seconds on Baron, and again, it is Mad Lions with control over the objective first. Setting down this vision, making sure they've got wards in the enemy jungle, making sure they've got wards in the river. They're gonna try to keep the Wildcats in the dark, make it so every single one of these brushes is scary to check.
Yeah, very scary to check. They don't have great tools for it either. Yeah, you can send Azir soldiers forward. Yeah, you can throw your flag down and check, but it is still a little dicey because you have to walk forward in range to do those, almost basically in pulse range. And now you can see they have to work their way in slowly, but Mad Lions can burn this Baron down.
Yeah, Kaisa is great at this, and the Mad Lions get it down to 4K. The Wildcats move in time. Serin gets tagged there with the plasma as Mad continues to posture aggressively, scaring the Wildcats back into mid. Mad will clear out the vision. They will not restart the Baron. The Wildcats are marching down mid. They might just go for the tier 2 here.
Yep, tier 2 is very low off that previous Baron situation, so they can finish this one off. Mad was going to lose that one eventually. Went for the Baron, force onto it, did not get it, but now with them recalling, it does give Wildcats a window to also get control back in this area. Man, I feel so bad. I was talking about like, oh, almost a perfect game for Mad Lions. I apologize. I apologize for the caster curse. I forget the power that we wield sometimes.
It is a dangerous power, Mr. Zimmerman, but the Wildcats fans got to be loving you for it because this game has become a lot closer than I think anybody thought it was going to be based on those first few minutes. As Farfetch gets caught out a little bit here, Nisqy's stolen the Leona ulti. Armut is here on the flank, but he's found himself isolated. This could be a pretty big problem as the Jarvan dunk comes in. Starscreen goes over the wall. There's the burst from Torpedo Renekton. Armut still trying to get away. Nisqy kills Farfetch. Armut is drain tanking the Wildcats as Elyoya finds his way to HoluPhoenix. Nisqy misses the E2, and now the backup has arrived. HoluPhoenix goes for the bullet time, but he won't get a lot. They'll still take Elyoya back. It's a 2-for-2.
Dangerous play there for Mad Lions. I see the angle Armut wanted with that TP flank, but it was too far away from the rest of his team. Gave them a target to focus down on. Very broken up fight. Not at all the battle lines that Wildcats want, so they should feel fortunate to get out of that situation. Nisqy with that chase down was so threatening. Got the Leona, almost got HoluPhoenix as well, and if you found him, you probably find the Baron.
Let's take another look at how they wanted to start this. Farfetch was in a sketchy spot here early on.
I think he might have been able to finish that recall. It was on a brush, and I assume Killer could have interrupted it, so maybe he, self-canceled to start running early, but that gives him up as a target. Armut, though, a little bit too far ahead of the rest of the team. Nice decision by them to turn around and focus him down, and so they are able to get him with, like you said, the Prowler's Claw. Farfetch drops here. Oh, never mind, we're on Baron. Forget it.
We're right back to live, my friend.
They got it.
The Wildcats will rush the Baron down, and they will claim the objective. But now what happens in the rest of the fight? Nisqy's over the wall. He steals away the Renekton ulti, and he's going to try to stand and fight. Starscreen tries to retreat. Ferret goes back over the wall, too. Starscreen may just be the sacrificial lamb. He is. Unforgiven goes in and grabs the kill. Wildcats got Baron, but they lost their top laner. They'll continue the retreat. Armut and the rest of Mad Lions still trying to chase him. Disengage coming out from Farfetch. Azir turret has been summoned up. They cannot chase any further.
Not able to get any further. Unforgiven, good job seeing the angle to finish off Starscreen. And with no Misfortune ultimate available there, I see why Wildcats did not want to risk a turn there. They got a little bit of chunk damage onto him after ulting in, but Unforgiven kites it out. And then they're just running from Nisqy, who is pretty relentless in these situations. If you don't burst him down, he has a ton of damage at this point. 3 items completed, working on what I have to assume is a death cap right now.
Death cap will make that Sylas that much scarier, but it's 15 seconds until the next Drake spawns. Starscreen will spawn before it does, but he has to make the long trek down there step by step. No TP available. There is actually no TP available for anybody on the map except for Serin.
Serin has 3.5 items completed, has a bit of pen with the Blighted Jewel completed. He is the biggest threat right now for Mad Lions. Can they find him?
Okay, Wildcats, they're gonna see Nisqy there with that brush on the side. Armut still got his spot here on the pincer. Do they want to go for this? Nisqy's going in. Armut's gonna be controlled for now. Nisqy's very low, but they found their way onto HoluPhoenix. He buys himself a little bit of time, but they've already killed Farfetch. Starscreen's gonna die next. This is a problem for the Wildcats. They're trying to fight back, but the Mad Lions tear them to pieces.
Nisqy is mad. He went for that insane flank through Serin to find the angle onto HoluPhoenix, and then is able to kite back onto the front line and use them to sustain through. That wins them the fight, gets them the second dragon of the game to again deny soul for the Wildcats.
Beautifully done from Mad Lions, answering the Wildcats. finding the play, finding the angle, and finding a quadra kill on the Kaisa.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, with all the space and chaos that is being created from all these melee champions, that allows Kaisa, if she's not focused down, to ult in, find these targets. You see going with the Collector as well, wanting to finish people off. Here you see it, the double flank angle here for Armut to start up onto HoluPhoenix, but he's able to walk out, and it's Nisqy's kind of hard commit combined with Kaiser and everyone else flying at HoluPhoenix that's able to get that kill. Unforgiven basically free hitting on the backside. The fact that Nisqy lived there is absolutely crazy. And then Serin was not in a position to find the big peel. That's one of the biggest parts of their team fight, is when the Azir wall comes in, can you knock all these melee champions off of HoluPhoenix and himself? They kind of ignored him in that fight.
This game is becoming quite the battle, Mark. I'm honestly loving this. So, now that they've lost another shot at grabbing the soul, what is the recipe for success here for the Wildcats? It's 3-2, so you've got about an extra plus 1,000 gold in terms of Dragon stats, but you're still down 5.5K overall.
I think for the most part, you're trying to hold on through Baron situations that Mad Lion is most likely going to be forcing. Armut at 1, 4, and 5 does not have the side lane threat. Both him and Starscreen have handshook on being frontliners who die early in team fights and not actually side lane threats. So neither one really have split push potential to achieve anything. And so for Mad, it's with that goal lead, like you're talking about, being able to get their pink wards down, get vision control, force the Wildcats to face check them, and try and make a play happen before the next dragon. I realistically don't think you want to keep getting these dicey dragon fights where, you know, Serin's still scaling up. He's on 4 items. He's going to be completing his Zonias, has a stopwatch. You know, like, you want to end the game before it turns into another Drake situation.
Well, Nisqy nearly has his Rabadons as well. You touched on it a little bit earlier, and now he has the second of the large rods required to build his hat. So once he can combine those, that Sylas damage will become even more of a threat that's already finding its way into HoluPhoenix. HoluPhoenix does have the Guardian Angel ready to go. This is a pretty big purchase, but it's also one of those purchases where if you get caught out, it means absolutely nothing.
It's very comical to see characters without... Oh, hold on.
Elyoya just getting jumped on here. Ferret goes in. Ferret goes right back out. Armut's coming in from the flank. Wildcats got to be careful. I don't think that was the play. Unforgiven is godlike as Armut tries to get away. Starscreen wants to go after him. 1 for 1. Serin's now stuck. Tries to go back in, but he won't find it. Nisqy still chasing. HoluPhoenix in his sights. A triple kill over to Unforgiven. And the Wildcats fall apart.
Starscreen still cut off, trying to get the TP out. Might get the interrupt by Elyoya here.
Oh! Oof.
There Elyoya goes, finding the last kill of the fight. 4 down, excuse me, for the side of Wildcats. They're trying to end the game, actually. They're TPing in. That was such a mistake to try and hop onto Elyoya there.
I just don't know what in the world you're doing. Jumping on Trundle like that, there's no way that's going to be the play. The Wildcats go for broke, and the Mad Lions break them. They're in the base. It's HoluPhoenix and Farfetch versus everybody. Phoenix goes for the ulti. It ain't gonna work out too well. Guardian Angel will bring him back to life, but I don't think it'll do a whole lot more. He gets stunned up again. There goes the support. There goes the carry. Istanbul Wildcats fought back valiantly, but the Mad Lions go up 2-0.
It was dicey for a minute there, but the Mad Lions can be Glad Lions, not Sag Lions, after finding a way to close that game out. It was, like you said, we were kind of perfect game potentially in that ballpark before they made a couple mistakes, showing some errors in side lanes, getting caught out in rotations, gave them a foothold back in, but too clean from Nisqy. And Unforgiven, 14-1-1. He was greedy with that Collector.
Back in the draft, you said you were happy to see him on a Kaisa instead of just a Seraphine. Seraphine's great for supporting the team, but having a pop-off moment is always going to feel good. I'd call that a pop-off moment, Mark.
Absolutely the case. And coming in as the player that I think a lot of people had their eyes on of how he was going to adapt to the new meta, these kinds of things. Unforgiven showing I can play Seraphine and I can play Kaisa. Basically the complete opposite champions. The champion pool depth that he has right now is something that teams will have to take note of going forward in group stage.
And Mad Lions could not ask for a better start. Yes, the games got a little close. Yes, they got a little sloppy, but Mad showed they have the clutch factor. They've shaken off whatever bad vibes possessed them during the playoffs. They've got back into a form that they can find victories in these best of ones, and they're looking like a solid squad.
Yep, for the